Hey everyone, and welcome to Signals from the Frontline, your every Wednesday live broadcast brought to you here by Frontline Gaming. We are your hosts, Kicker, the Chief of Serial and Sigillite of the FLG, Nicky D. Cannon, the Flannel Fan and Producer Extraordinaire, and I'm Seth, the Mad Duck, your competitive correspondent. How has everyone been doing?
Dude, I like it. I like that Nicky D is becoming the Flannel Fan. I love it. I love it. By the way, guys, sorry for the raspy, hoarse voice. I was working the Lone Star Open all weekend long. And yeah, I do sound like I'm in the Mafia. Yes, chat. I am sorry. This is just what I'm going to have to roll with for a little while. It's actually way better.
Yeah, close your eyes, guys, and just imagine it's Reese.
Right? Either the longer you have this job, the more you just become Reese. Yeah, guys, if you're listening to our podcast, please consider watching us live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You get to be part of chat and, of course, see the cool visual elements like this. Check this out, guys. This is my hobby progress. Yes, I was working the Lone Star Open, but I still managed to get some hobby time in. There's a mana core for my guard. Yeah, mana core is pretty good, guys. It's pretty good. It was my MVP at our last little game I had against Joe of War Games Live. I really, really like this. And there you go. You see, do you guys name your tanks or your big vehicles? Is that a thing, or is it just me? Am I geeky for doing that?
I think it's a guard thing.
It's a guard thing. Okay, so this mana core is lovingly named Big Shot because it fires. Yeah, right.
Yeah, makes sense.
No,
I mean, actually, like the Death Strike should be Big Shot, right?
Well, I don't have a Death Strike, and I don't really want
that would be
Big
Shot.
That would be Big Shot. That would be big. Maybe this is Big Shots because like 4 giant missiles.
I'm thinking like Fat Boy and Little Man kind of thing.
Oh, okay, there we go. Nicky D, I know that you're not doing the best, but I have to ask you: do you name your demons because you run these giant monsters? Are you just calling them the Great and Clean Land and Bellicor, or do you have like a fun name for them?
You mean like this guy that I've been painting since last week?
Oh, whoa! What is that? That's beautiful.
It's a great and clean one.
It is a great and clean.
Painted up in my slap chop scheme for my Nurgle demons. Was hoping to get it done today, but was feeling a little bit under the weather, so did not get 100% of the model completed. I'm hoping to do that tomorrow, and then this weekend I'll be moving on to some other models. But I don't give them nicknames. They're creatures of war.
It's probably because you can't pronounce their real name. Yeah, the human tongue is not meant to handle it.
That's the reason.
Too many letters and too many things that we, mortals can't understand. Having that part said.
Yeah, but, just looking at the name on a piece of paper makes your skin crawl.
Oh my gosh, jeez.
Yeah.
All right.
Especially just Nurgle, because like diseases and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that would be.
Well, he's looking good. I like what you're doing, man, and that's impressive because I know you are a little under the weather, yet you still are dedicated to the effort and painting and hobbing along. So well done, man. Did you get to do anything else this past week? Because you weren't at Lone Star with Seth and I.
No, I was not. I watched a lot of Lone Star Open on War Games Live with Joe, so that was really great. I did that, and then I did go see Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yes, good or bad? What do we think?
I liked it. I liked Fallout, the prior one, better. Partially because Henry Cavill is just such a fantastic villain in it. Whereas just the villain in this film is AI, basically. So you can't really put a face and name to it, that sort of thing. Some of the action was really cool. It was definitely worth my 3 hours of going and seeing it in a theater. But I was one of very few people in the theater not wearing pink and there to see Barbie. So, hey, what are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Seth, what have you been up to? I mean, I know I saw you in Texas.
I was at LSO, so I didn't get much hobby progress done because I was getting ready for that, and then I came back and honestly just caught up on sleep and work, and so I haven't done much hobby progress. I've been doing some list iterations, just messing around with future list ideas for the next iteration of the orcs, but I'm not quite sure where that's going to end up yet. I got to get some practice games in, get a feel for it. But yeah, that's where I've been at. Kicker, do you want to kind of take us into what's been happening on the industry side of things?
Let's do this, guys. All right, so first off, we've got rules for more legend units. So, some units are going the way of the legends, and probably
legends never die.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It is a bit just sad to see this happening, but at the same time, there's always new models being added to the army, so some models have to be let go. We also like Seth. Well, first of all, Seth, was there anything that's going into Legends that is near and dear to your heart that you're sad to see? No longer part of
Nothing
that.
new for the orcs going into Legends, but I was interested to see that they produced some rules for some really older, kind of out of production 400-year-old stuff we haven't seen around for a while. So that's kind of exciting, just because like I have like a lift a wagon, and it'll be cool to just like throw that on the table and have that fun.
And to be clear, guys, Legend units are still fine for your casual gameplay and whatnot at your home. It just at a frontline gaming event, a competitive frontline gaming event, it would not be allowed, as well as a competitive event for most other organizers. We also know that, I guess let's just call what they are, firstborn Marines. That's really, that's the term we use, firstborn Marines. They're going bye-bye. Seth, do you want to explain this a little bit?
Yeah, so they announced a number of kits that they're going to be essentially kind of retiring. They went kind of, I don't know if they're officially on last chance to buy on the website yet, but they basically let everyone know that in the near future, these are going to no longer be in production. And that kind of fits with, I think they had put the roadmap out for codexes and Marines is coming sometime in the summer or fall. And they're like, Marines by far have the most data sheets in their codex. So it makes sense that if they're going to keep adding new things to that codex, eventually they've got to get to a point where they stop, keeping everything around and letting some things go. And, I know some people in the community were kind of, upset to see some of the firstborn go away. But actually, John Quinnell pointed out that it's been almost 8 years since GW has produced a quote firstborn kit.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time since they produced anything for that scale and that era of Marines. So
and you
it's
just
all right
right
to see those.
the scale is different, right? It's a different scale. Yeah. I got to say, we should probably all pour one out for him. I mean, my beloved sniper scouts, they're gone. They're not going to be there anymore. So we're gonna Nicky D might have some more models of himself. He's our Space Marine player on the show. He might have a model or two that he's going to miss. But
I have a Space Marine army, but it's a painting project.
Yeah, I don't really have that. I don't really have that many Space Marines that I'm worried about myself. I have some scouts from 8th edition when they were good for building the battalion, but aside from that, not because I more or less started end of 7th, early 8th. So 8th edition is when they introduced Primaris. So a lot of the Space Marine stuff I have is Primaris anyways.
Well, cool. Guys, once again, some people will be a little upset, but we move on. We got a bunch of new models in the pipeline. Let's talk about something really exciting. This happened today, this morning. The new Index FAQ dropped. Not crazy over the top. Guys, this was just a very light-handed touch to address very obvious things. More updates will come, future. This was more just a quick, literally, I believe GW said, to fix typos and just little mistakes that were never intended to be interpreted that way. So the biggest one, I think, would be the GSC one, the Gene Stealer.
They got a few touches, mainly that they have to come in within 3 inches of their blips.
Do the whole daisy chain thing.
Yeah,
which was
and their bikes can only do the mortal wound bombs once per battle round, so not jumping around throwing it 3-4 times.
Eldar had a few things as well, which hopefully, but not enough to
nothing crazy. This was really not balanced. This was just like I'm looking from orc perspective, and it's like the Death Killer War Trike was a model it was an orc character, and it didn't have the character keyword, and they were like, "Hey, that has the character keyword now."
A lot of keywords.
And you're like,
added,
"Oh, okay, yeah." So a lot of that kind of stuff, where it was like everyone knew that Gazgul wasn't supposed to be able to fit in a truck, but they didn't have the line that said he wasn't supposed to go in a truck. So then they added it. Gazgul cannot go in a truck.
I think what this was doing was just making it very clear, because some people try to interpret things which are clearly, I mean, I don't want to use this, but seem very obvious, are not supposed to be interpreted that way.
Yeah, you're looking at intent versus
exactly
written.
So now they're like trying to make it a little bit more bulletproof. This is the way
they're trying to clarify intent and get things as close to rules as written as they can get it right now.
Me for I got to say the Deathcore Krieg. They made it very clear how the Medi kit works for the infantry squads, which makes me very happy. It's exactly how I've been playing it. Is what I expected it to be, but now it's very clear and not something you can argue. Let's talk about some pre-orders that are going up for sale this weekend. We've got Warcry Crypt of Blood. This is the starter set for the new Warcry edition. This has got Stormcast in there, and they're fighting the Flesh Eater Courts. Now, this right. This has got a few terrain pieces, but this is actually a pretty inexpensive starter set compared to previous Warcry starter sets. You get two full teams. You get some terrain, you get the mat, you get everything you need. It's significantly cheaper than the previous ones. The best part, though, is these Flesh Eater Courts. This was the kit that was released, a while back that sold out basically like immediately. It's the really sweet one with like the vampires, like the
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right? There's like one with like vampire, like he looks like a gargoyle with wings, and one's got like a mace and stuff. This is the coolest set they've had yet, and it's kind of cool that it's now in the starter set. So yeah, definitely worth picking up. Even if you don't like Warcry, you just want those models. I have no reason to paint vampires. I don't even like vampires. I'm kind of like, I just don't like the Evil Dead. That's not my thing. But I'm totally scooping those up because I see the conversion opportunities. Even like Eldar, like one of those could be like I don't know. There's options. There's so many options with these.
There's a lot of conversion fodder there.
Oh, we have a special call out, The End and the Death by Dan Abnett. This is the first book in the final series for the Horus Heresy. This is the story of chaos breaching into the Imperial Palace. Is this book's going up for pre-order? Maybe calling a friend.
Yeah, that would be Nicky D. I didn't put that in there.
Yeah, Nicky D picking up the phone. Yes, so one, Dan Abnett is probably for most people like a top 3.
He's the author of all the Gaunt's Ghost series, Eisenhorn.
One, I think he's a fantastic writer, one of my personal favorites. But then this is the beginning of sort of a mini series that is the end for the Horus Heresy novels. So I know a lot of folks are really looking forward to that book. I don't read a lot. I pick and choose my Horus Heresy books here and there, mostly based on if it's chapters that I like, Space Marine chapters or legions that I like. I may be picking this one up just because it's a pretty pivotal storyline or finish for my beloved Blood Angels. So we'll see about that.
So to be clear, because I am kind of confused here. This is not the Seeds of Terra. This is basically just the Horus Heresy kind of catching up to the Seeds of Terra series. Is that where this is falling in place?
It's part of the Horus Heresy, but specifically Siege of Terra.
Okay, gotcha.
Gets into there.
Hey.
And Disflux is saying that he or she or they specifically asked for no Horus Heresy spoilers. They don't want to know how it ends.
Yeah, I told him.
I told him orcs win. Okay, yeah, we are a spoiler-free podcast. Hey, Nicky D, you're here now. Let's take us. You got to take us into the nerd news, right, man? Like that's your area of expertise. Besides all things Space Marine and I guess demons too. But nerd news, man. I know you're feeling a little sick. You've been watching some stuff. What have you seen? What's going on?
Yes. Well, first, I want to note a follow-up from last week's show. On last week's show, Kicker, you brought up Ahsoka, the Star Wars series.
Yeah.
Plus, it is coming out August 23rd, and there's going to be 2 episodes on release date. So, want to confirm that for everybody. There was a new trailer released last week. I think it's called Dark Jedi is the name of that new trailer. Highly recommend checking it out. Looks fantastic. And then aside from that, big news, big thing coming out tomorrow. Season 3, Volume 2 of The Witcher. It is the end of the Henry Cavill run as The Witcher, folks. So if I just finished Season 3, Volume 1, actually about 2 hours before the show. Kicker, you talked about it previously that it wasn't your favorite, and I kind of agree, but I think it sets up Volume 2 to be really action-packed, which is when Henry Cavill as The Witcher is at his best. So are you going to be following up and watching Season 2, finishing out the Cavill run, guys?
You have to. I mean, I'm committed to this storyline, even though I'm kind of lost and don't really understand everything that's going on. I'm committed. I know Seth, you didn't really care so much, right?
Like 2 episodes into season 3, it was like,
Seth failed out early. Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah. Well,
sorry, Chad.
Sorry, Chad. We got anything else we need to keep our eyes open for, Nick?
The other item, the Marvels trailer, Disney, that also came out last week. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to it because it's some of the superheroes and characters I just don't know as much about. So I'm not going in with a lot of preconceived notions. And I think that is what makes it really exciting to me. Almost like when, Guardians of the Galaxy first came out, right? Nobody knew what the heck a talking raccoon was going to be doing or what this movie was going to be about.
Yeah,
and it
right.
became something really great. Now, this is sort of a sequel to Ms. Marvel and to some of the other TV series, but I'm excited for it nonetheless. That movie's not coming out until November, I think, but go check out the trailer.
Sweet. All right, guys, let's hop into some event news. We're going to keep it short and sweet. The Las Vegas Open Room Block is finally going to be available next week. You know it, you love it. Yes, I think we'll probably release it on Wednesday just so that we can talk about it first on our show. There will be a few different options, which is really, really cool. This is the first time we've ever done this at any Frontline Gaming event. Your room block will have multiple choices. You can choose
multiple tiers of room.
Multiple tiers. We'll go into all the details when the room block goes live, or maybe a little bit before. But basically, you have options, which is always nice. And SoCal, we got to bring this up. Let's bring this up. This is the brand new SoCal 2023 artwork. Yes, you know it, you love it. It's an orc.
It's a surfing orc.
It's a surfing orc done by none other than Goat Boy himself, guys. Now, those astute Frontline Gaming, event goers may know that this is an orc. We did an orc earlier this year for the Rocky Mountain Open. We don't like to double up on Xenos races and whatnot. We want to keep it, we want to spread it all around, try things different. But SoCal for the past 2 years has been won by orc players. So we felt that it was necessary to make this third year of the SoCal Open, possibly, or not the third year ever of the SoCal Open, but the third year in a row. Let's do an orc as a logo. Let's see if they're going to pull it off a third time in a row. Seth, do you think orcs have a chance at actually winning?
If I buy a ticket, I guess orcs have a chance.
Okay. But orcs don't have a crazy win percentage right now.
Look, settle down, son.
All right,
our time's coming. Our time's coming.
Anyway, it's a cool piece of artwork. Check it out if you're watching our show. If not, stay tuned. We'll be posting this online, and tickets should be going live in the next week or two for the SoCal Open, which will take place over October, I want to say 22nd and 21st and 22nd. All right, guys, Signals Shorts. Nick, you're up.
All right, I had to click the button so I could get back into things here. This week, if you don't know, and based on the name for our show tonight, Carcharodons Week, I don't know, that's probably how you pronounce it. But, this week, folks, yeah, they're one of those other chapters. It is Shark Week. So in honor of Shark Week, I'm going to ask a question about something that sharks are very famous for, and that's biting things. So, Seth and Kicker, what 40K Xenos
Man, this is a stretch, but I'm here for it.
What 40K Xenos species do you least want to be bitten by?
Easy. Gene Stealer cult. Isn't the patriarch's kiss, where he gives a person some DNA and then they become gene stealers? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah. That's good. I was actually going to go with a squig because I'm pretty sure a squig can't control itself. It would continue to eat you whole. It wouldn't be.
So what kind of squig it is, Kicker?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not fluent in.
If it's a hair squig, you just got a goatee, is all.
All right. Well, apparently I need to read up on my squigs. Nicky D, what is the Xenos you do not want to get bitten by?
I'm going a different direction. I'm going a Drukhari homunculus because if they're biting me, it's for some weird reason, and they're going to take pleasure from my pain, and I don't want that at all. So, Drukhari homunculus, I don't want to get bitten by them. I feel like, if it's something like a squig or some big Tyrannofex or something like that, I'm going to be done pretty quickly. The Drukhari is going to make that last a while. I don't want that.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Very fair. That's very fair.
All right. Well, Kicker.
Yeah,
there was this little thing called LSO that we were at this weekend. You want to tell people how it went?
So this was the Lone Star Open 2023. This is the third year we've done the Lone Star Open. It is our military appreciation event in Texas, just outside of Dallas. It was tremendously successful. We had everyone that was there last year basically came, but then a lot more. People. We had a couple flying from the UK, which was wow, was this becoming an international event now?
We got blessed by a frequent viewer, Joel Atkins. He showed up with some snacks for you, Kicker.
There's a photo right there. Yes, he did show up with some I believe it was Nutty Buddy cereal. It was glorious. Seth, you needed it because you were really in the zone.
Quite hungry at one point, and I was like, I need food kicker.
So
Oh,
Joel
it's very
Atkins
good.
is a listener of our show, and he was fortunate enough to grace us with some beautiful cereal as well as his presents. We also had Mario. Mario showed me up. Mario out of Utah showed up with some cereal. I really appreciate that, guys. The cereal keeps us going. Let's talk about Red Powell. He was there. Red and Patrick,
Yep.
his new number 2. We had Goat Boy, the artist that we use all the artwork here. We have Dave and Shauna, his wife.
Yep.
Como.
And I think I've got pictures in here of them as well.
Do we have a photo of you and Dave and Shauna?
Yeah, I think I put that in there.
It was great seeing, there we go. Look at those guys. It was wonderful. So,
which is funny because they live close. They live like not too far away from me, but we all had to fly to Texas to meet and play.
Yeah, just go halfway across the country.
And then Kicker, you did say, people coming from the UK. We got a picture here of Robert Taylor and his wife who came over from the UK to say hi to us.
Yes, and they I believe they brought you a gift, right, Seth?
Yeah, they brought some of the GW stamps because UK did the roundup stamps, so I got some stamps from them. That was
feel like
cool.
We need some GW stamps in the USA. I think that'd be really nice.
We'll talk to the postal service about it. We'll get right on it.
So I'm gonna throw some of the things that really I enjoyed this week, and one of the things I really enjoyed was my game with Joe. We had a meet and greet on Friday night.
Yeah.
And normally I'm like talking to everyone. This time Joe really wanted to play on stream. It was his 3rd game of 10th edition, and guess what? It was my 3rd game of 10th edition. Yeah. Neither one of us really knew what the hell we were doing on stream, but we had a lot of fun.
And now I need to interrupt you here, Kicker, because one, save your damn voice. Okay. 2, Joe wanted me to do commentary, but I was actually in the Vanguard Tactics workshop that evening. But I want our viewers to take a look at this picture and look at the shirt the Kicker's wearing, because it is the most absurd shirt I have ever seen this man wear at an event.
Oh my God, it's such a sexy shirt. It's
got vultures on it. I was so confused. I was like, we're here. It's the military appreciation event. We got all the Texas guys, decked out to the nines in red, white, and blue. You could have got eagles at least, but you went with vultures.
Well, it's my only pearl snap Texan, Western style shirt, and yes, it has some vultures on the. It's all right. Yeah, I know, a little ridiculous, but a little ridiculous. Oh, by the way, yes, chat. Joe did win. He did beat me. It was a close game, but apparently he knows how to play primary, and I have no idea how to score primary. We should talk about maybe some of the more sensitive things, because people have asked. There was an issue with a player that made it all the way, undefeated till the 6th round, where he played. Now, it was determined after the fact that he was playing with an illegal list, as well as he was playing several rules incorrectly. This player, it is a shame that happened, especially when you get all the way, going undefeated. You're going to have way more people scrutinize you, because I'm sure this being 10th edition, quite a few people were stumbling through some of the rules and whatnot. But this player did, go undefeated, and has kind of a history. So we looked into it and we approached the player, and he fully admitted that he did play. He won that last game, his 6th round, unfairly. He admitted it because he was playing the rules incorrectly, and he volunteered to pull himself out of the event, which has readjusted some of the rankings a little bit, but not too much. It does mean that his player that he played, which was Noah ended up going would have come in 2nd for that event, which is really, really, really impressive. Noah, can we talk about Noah's story, because we're talking about Noah? Do we have a? Yeah,
I got a photo of Noah in there.
We got a photo of Noah. So check this out, guys. Noah is from the Pacific Northwest, and he is an avid Frontline Gaming event attendee. He's a wonderful guy. He is a hobbyist in all regards. Not only is he a good general, but he paints beautifully. Well,
he's always about going looking for best overall, and he actually has a podcast called The Best Overall Show.
Oh, geez. Yes, he does. Well, this guy, he works a pretty intense job, and he had to leave and asked his wife and kids to pack up his army, and they did a great job, except they forgot one of his models. Now, Noah is playing knights, so missing one of your knight models
that's not a small.
It's not a lone guardsman, guys. Oh, so he showed up on Friday afternoon, missing one of his models, and approached me saying, "What can I do?" Well, the first thing we said is you're going to have to change your list because your list is not going to be accurate. If like we can find there's no one that has a spare knight just lying around, right?
Yeah, and even if there was a box of them in the shop, they're usually like 2 in a box, right?
Yeah. Because it was an armature.
Because it was an armature.
It was an armature. So he agreed to take the. I believe I don't quote me on this, but I believe he had to take the yellow card just for having to change his list last minute, which was totally okay. He's a stand-up guy. He's not going to have any other infractions throughout the event. And then he went to our second-hand shop and purchased a bunch of random, let's just call it what it is, crap.
He bought, was it Lilith, Hesperax, and the Umbral 6, the special like Warhammer TV Vindicar, and then kit bashed that into a Calidus Assassin.
He's doing this like late Friday night at the bar
because he already attended the Vanguard Tactics Workshop, so he was in that till 8.
Yeah,
in fact, we were paired up to play like our practice game together. And then, he borrowed the paints from the Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy. He borrowed their paints and then sat at the bar and kit bashed this model and painted it in like 2 hours.
And I think he did some RBDs or whatever the low point, but basically he created the last bit of his list, that night, which was just amazing. On the fly. This was not a list he'd play. He was not planning on taking this list to the event. He then proceeded to play this list and go all the way to the 6th round undefeated at that point. And basically, just an amazing story. The guy went from, just a total uphill battle to going all the way to the last round and just destroying it. I mean,
he knows no quit. That is a good way to describe it.
Well, and so if you see this guy, give him a hug, shake his hand, buy him a drink, because he is, I believe, indomitable. Just went for it nonstop. So that was really a cool story that happened there. We did have some judge issues and questions because this is a new edition. This is the first major tournament from almost the majority of the people in this tournament had never played a 10th edition tournament. I mean, the 10th edition is brand spanking new. So there's a lot of judge questions. We did have more judges than normal, but still some people were like, hey, they struggled. Seth, as a player, did you ever feel like you had a hard time finding a judge or anything? I mean, you were playing. I
had one judge question and I just walked up to the table and asked him, which I have to go on a small rant kicker. Small rant. So it was like my round 3, and it wasn't like a contentious question. It was like my opponent and I trying to learn the rules a little better. And we were both playing tactical objectives, and the question came up of, how you discard a tactical objective at the end of your turn to get a CP? We wanted to know if it was at the end of either player turn or just your turn.
Yeah.
And so we weren't sure. And because basically he had like a bad secondary and my turn was getting done. And we were like, I wonder if you can discard it during my turn and get a CP versus wait to the start of your turn, draw it, and then spend a CP to get another one. So we weren't sure. And so I tried looking in the Leviathan little paper pamphlet and I couldn't find it. And so I went up and like, all props to Kyle, because I walked up and I was like, guys, I know this exists. I know this rule exists. I cannot find it in here at all. And Kyle immediately goes, it's in section 12 under beginning the battle. And I was like, why is it in beginning the battle? Like, I was very confused. But yeah, so they definitely, they were in a central position, but it still was a big hall and it was loud because we had all the other events there. So I certainly can understand some folks being a little unhappy with just trying to get the judge's attention sometimes. But there never really felt like a point where you couldn't get a judge. It was just sometimes you would have to walk over to the table rather than yell from across the room. We have a suggestion in chat from Kelsey, the Noah Kit Bash challenge at future events where you kit bash a character from the secondhand shop, and we have that as a separate painting competition.
Yes, no, done. This is definitely something we can do. I don't see a reason why we could do this on the meet and greets. We could do this at LVO. Yes, I love this.
I will say the one thing that we got to remember to do in that scenario is I know the one thing that we were all trying to find for Noah last minute and we couldn't was primer.
Okay, cool. So we'll have to have primer on site.
Yeah,
we can do that.
Because that was the one thing that didn't have at any of the paint booths, and we didn't have any. And randomly, none of the hobby goblins had primer either.
Jeez.
Wow. So that's the thing we'll have to remember.
That's going to go in my admin box right now, next to all my paperwork.
A rattle can of Chaos Black. There you go.
There we go. Boom. So we had some other cool stuff that happened. But let's talk about some of, I guess, the interesting things that happened, because some people did notice that Stephen Box came in there. He taught his workshop, but after round 1, he pulled himself out of the event, and people wanted to know what was up. I don't feel comfortable giving all the specifics. I'm sure he can do that on his own terms, but he had a personal, thing with his family and relationships and stuff, and basically a little like a mini crisis took place, and he needed to focus on that. And at the end of the day, I think that's the right move. I mean, yes, you can come from across the country, across the world to come to a tournament, but at the end of the day, it's not as important as family is. So helping out family is probably the better move at that point.
And I talked to Steven when this was happening because I wanted to help him out as best as we could. And his main concern, he was doing everything he could to try to resolve this kind of family crisis that was going on. But his main concern was just that he didn't want, because he was constantly on his phone trying to check in
during his first round.
Yeah, during his first round. And he felt like he wasn't giving his opponents a good experience, that he wasn't giving the game the attention that the opponents the attention that they deserved. So he felt that it was just better to kind of step aside. Everything was resolved by that afternoon. Everything's okay, and he was back to wandering the hall, just kind of hanging out and chatting with folks. And I think he played a bunch of pickup games on Sunday, so he was still there, still hanging out. In fact, I think he was in Texas longer than the rest of us. Yeah. I think you and I were home before he even got on his plane Monday.
He got there the day before me and left the day after. I mean, geez, man, he was there for a while. I got to tell you, because some people did see this happen and asked, and during the event, I tried to make sure that people can focus on their game and not worry about all the craziness going in the background. During the Armada, so we had quite a few other game systems there. We had 40K, of course, but Armada, X-Wing, both of those were Worlds qualifiers, along with Legion, Star Wars Legion. They were all qualifiers for AMG's massive, invitational kind of event. It's a super big deal for players in that game system. And during the Armada event, it's extremely an intense. People play Armada almost like you might see how people would play chess. It's a very focused, intense game. And for this to be a world's qualifier for them, the players were pretty, it was tense. An ambulance had to be called because one of the players did, for lack of a better word, seize up, and he became extremely pale and hit the floor. And I was called over to handle the situation by the TO of that particular game system. And after seeing that the player, we did have a paramedic. One of the Armada players was a paramedic, and he immediately, he's a doctor. I'm not a doctor, but he was diagnosing the person and talking with me. And when it became clear that the player was not getting better, I had to make the call to make sure we got an ambulance there, because that's not something that we can handle in a tournament setting. He needed to be taken care of.
Err on the side of caution there.
Yes, that is always my goal. I will be happy. I am happy to tell you the player's fine. Everything's okay. Nothing long term. But yes, if you did see the medical facility running through the hall, that was because of a player for the Armada event who is now perfectly fine. Can we talk about the setup team? Because that was a really cool fact too. So setup, we had hobby goblins coming all the way from Florida, many of them from Jacksonville, Florida. That was amazing. Setup was extremely fast, but it wasn't because we just had the hobby goblins. We also had this team, and I have to say I'm very proud, from Louisiana, my home state. Just this whole group of guys that showed up to help, go to work. They're like, we are setting this up. And Louisiana doesn't really have a major event of their own. So I guess a lot of Louisiana, Mississippi folk are considering this Texas event, the Lone Star Open, one of their own. And we had more Louisiana and Mississippi folks than we've ever had at the Lone Star Open. And they all were like, this is ours. This is ours.
I know a lot of the folks in that area because I go down that way to play games. And a lot of them traveled and showed up. So that was pretty cool to see everyone.
Yeah. I'm getting goosebumps. I was just so proud to see my people, at the Lone Star Open. So that was wonderful. Seth, did you notice the particularly unique oval table with a white tablecloth in the middle of the hall?
Yep, I did. I actually I noticed that during the Friday night workshop, and I asked, and Noah quickly informed me of what it was. You want to tell everyone what that was, Kicker?
Yeah, guys, that's so the Lone Star Open is our military appreciation event, and our judges are Kyle and Steve, and they're military, and something that is very important is to really respect the service members that can't be there because they're missing, or prisoners of war and whatnot. And this is a POW table. This is a military tradition that is usually done in cafeterias and whatnot, but we thought it'd be very appropriate to have one at the hall. Basically, it's a table to honor those that cannot be with us. And I am not military. Seth, you're not military. I believe Nicky D is not military either. But I was really not sure how this was going to be received. And I'll tell you guys, so touching. Throughout the weekend, I had military guys, grown men, come up to me, some of them in tears, very emotional, just thanking us for doing that. That it's a very small gesture we did, and really,
Yeah.
it's a table with some items on it as well as the tablecloth and whatnot. But they were just like, that meant so much to them. So guys, it's a very simple little thing we did, but I was happy to do it and have something that really resonated with the military personnel there that did not have some friend, who wish some of their friends could have been there with them. So that was something that I wanted to share, because it's not something that's on the stream. It's not something talked about,
Yeah.
but the military
kicker. I did get a video of it that might be going up in a vlog on Saturday.
Okay, cool.
I did have Kyle explain what that was.
Great.
Because Kyle was the one that really took the initiative on that. So I wanted him to kind of explain to everyone, because this is LSO is a bit more unique event because it has that focus on the military aspect.
Yeah.
And so, I wanted to kind of show what some of that was.
And speaking about the military aspect, we did have service members literally from across the country coming in just for this event to play with their fellow service members. We had, quite a few Army, quite, a good Marine turnout, Navy turnout, not as many Coast Guards, but a good Air Force turnout.
They still had like 3, I think.
I think they had 3 players, and then a 4th that was not, he opted not to be, representing in terms of his score being added to the final tally. But yeah, it was really a cool thing there. Oh, and I want to share my single favorite moment from the entire freaking weekend. This was the award ceremony, when we had to ask Seth to start off the ceremony, and Seth basically started off by saying, despite being the least qualified member here to do this, I am the only one who still has his voice. Seth, you did an amazing job. Your voice, you kept it throughout the entire weekend.
I did not wog the entire weekend because I kept having to do announcements for the judge team, and so I was like, I'm going to need my voice, so I'm just going to save it.
Was epic, because myself, I mean, I could barely talk, and the judges, they were all so tired. Everyone had been talking a lot. So Seth, you saved our butts. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it. I sort of I like getting up in front of people and talking kicker. Because we do this.
like this thing right now.
Yeah, this thing.
Do you want to give us the results, Seth?
Yeah. So I've got the results here for 40K and Kill Team. I did reach out to the rest of the events. I just haven't gotten everything back from them yet. So I might circle back next week and update you on those ones. But let's start off with paint. Our number 3 best painted was Jeff Hill. He's actually my round 6 opponent. His custodians looked awesome. It was funny because he has really different color schemes for each squad. And there was one squad that was like black with like pinkish purple clothes, and so then I decided that I was like, those look kind of chaos to me. And then I swear I was like just joking around, and someone came up and was like, I don't know, man, maybe they're like guarding like the red light district of Terra. So we had some fun with that, but his army looked awesome. So I got the chance to kind of see that firsthand. Number 2 for paint was Eric Mullins with some Chaos Knights. They're always a great canvas. And then our number 1 up here on the screen, Kevin Grubb's Ultramarines. He did them as 4th company. That's that green accent you see on them. His stuff always looks fantastic. Hopping on down to overall, for our number 3, we got Noah Bedham there in 3rd place for overall. Number 2 was Robert Hopkins, and then our number 1 was Robert Moreland, pictured here with our lovely kicker during the awards ceremony. And then everyone knows who our best general was. That was Ben Jurek, running Eldar, here sporting the Lone Star Open Chainsword. Fun fact, he's from Las Vegas. And we give him this big chainsword, and I was like, good luck flying back with that. And he was like, could I just put it on the truck and pick it up from you guys later? So our shout out to our road warrior Mikey G. He took that chainsword and threw it in the truck and drove it back to Las Vegas. So
that chainsword is just, that's the best one we've done. Like, that is the coolest chainsword. So that was done by the Hobby Goblins for us. Big Bear 3D printed it, Hobby Goblins painted it and hobbied on it, and it is that is the coolest one we've done yet. Like, it sets the bar extremely high for what we're going to see at LVO.
And then we had the side competition of the military branches,
Yeah.
and the Marines. From my understanding, the score was quite handily in their favor.
Yeah.
And there's the group shot with the Marines. They're all hanging out, having a good time. There might be a small elite force, but they get the job done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
congrats to. I think this is the second year in a row for the Devil Dogs.
It
So
is.
I'm not saying the other branches need to try harder, but maybe do a little strategizing, guys. Who knows? Maybe I know Red's really into the strategy and tactics. Maybe he could organize his guys. I'm not calling you out or anything, Red.
Right there on air, you're doing it. All right.
All right, and then I did get a lot of good info from the kill team, To. For our number 3 overall in terms of general, that was Alex Salazar, and he was running the Farstalker Kind band, that crew mercenary band. It looked really cool. Number 2 was James Maxwell, also running a Farstalker Kind band, and then number 1 was Drew Powell, running an intercession squad. So that was pretty cool. Their best painted went to Dorich Best, using a Void Dancer troop. Of course, we got pictures of that. It seems like Harlequins are a great canvas to work on. Gives you a lot of opportunity, particularly in the kill team format, because you can go really hardcore into making each one of these guys over the top, because you don't have to paint 100 of them. And then their best sports was Larry Pearson, and I thought it was really appropriate what army he was playing for this week, because this week is Shark Week, and he was playing Carcharodon themed intercessors. So that looked pretty damn cool. So I was super excited about that. But yeah, LSO overall, great time. If folks want to kind of see more about what it was like and check it out, I have the vlog on my Seth the Mad Dog channel that'll be posted up Saturday, so you can go check that out there and kind of come along for the experience and see everything, and get to see Kicker running around frantically at all hours trying to get things done, and see a lot of our attendees there. So
Seth, we gotta talk about a little things on the other channels.
Yeah.
We got Angry Joe, right? Angry Joe's doing some good stuff.
Yep, Angry Joe. He did a kind of a 1-month retrospective on 10th edition. They've been doing a lot of games. He called it the good, bad, and ugly of 10th edition. So that was a good listen to kind of go through and get their thoughts. They're kind of they're gamers. They've been in the hobby for years, but this is kind of their first full-fledged dive into making a big content push on it. So it's interesting to get some new perspectives there. I always enjoy that. If you're interested in not 40K, Yavin Base was at LSO and streamed all the Legion events. So you can go back and watch that. I got a chance to meet David there, so that was pretty cool. And then if you're looking for something maybe a little bit 40K but different, Combat Patrol is alive and well on Play on Tabletop. So that's a nice way to ease yourself into a new army, particularly if you're trying something out new for 10th edition. That's a great way to kind of jump in at a lower entry point and then build to your full-size army that maybe you take to an event.
Exactly. Hey guys, so this week on the community poll, this is always posted in the Frontline Gaming community group on Facebook, we asked a very important question, because we're about a month in of 10th edition. We want to know, is 10th edition faster, slower, or about the same in terms of game length? And I really thought everyone was just going to overwhelmingly say it was faster. Seems like 70% of the people are saying it's about the same. 25% say it is faster, and 5% are saying it's slower. So that it is okay. So it's about the same with a lean towards being faster, which is really good, because we want the game to go faster, right? We don't want this game to become a 6-hour game. We want to ideally make it maybe 2 hours. Maybe we can make it a little less. Seth, what is your personal experience with 10th edition? Is it a faster game for you?
My games have been the same. Now, someone commented in chat, and I think it's a very relevant comment. Sorry, missions are kind of extremely variable now in terms of how they're played. So like when I played, round 4 was the ritual mission. I can't remember the exact letter it was, but it was ritual plus hidden or scrambler fields. And I was playing a demon opponent that was jumping everywhere. That was like we have to stop and think real hard about this for a minute kind of thing. So that's definitely like one that I think, on repeat play, I would get faster at, but it definitely was a slower game in that round. So definitely the missions do have an effect there.
Yeah. And I mean, it's also a learning curve. I mean, we played 9th edition for 3 years, right? So
Yeah,
a lot of that
yeah.
was second nature. So let's give it a little time. I think in 6 months we'll probably be happy to see it going even faster. So very cool. Seth, do you want to, I guess, take us out? Do you have any final words here?
Yeah, this is we're kind of wrapping it up. We're trying to stay to our 45-minute time.
We're
So
trying
we're
here. We're
doing
trying
well.
here. Look at this. Are we on time? Are we on time?
I'm just excited. We're kind of here at FLG. The team gets to kind of take a bit of a breather till October, right, Kicker?
No, I mean, so it's supposed to be a breather. I guess I should just be transparent with everyone. My wife is pregnant. We have baby number 2 coming early September, and so it's
a
not
breather
really
for
like
the rest of us.
yeah. I mean, it's allowing us to have a little breather room for you guys, but I will be very much
Maybe not so much for you. The rest of us, we get to have a breather.
Is the term called nesting? Am I nesting? Is
Yeah,
that what
you're
I'm doing right now?
nesting.
I'm nesting.
Yeah,
I'm like getting baby room ready and
you're
doing all
doing
that
all
stuff.
that stuff.
But come October, we do have the cruise hammer in August, right?
Yeah,
But
we do.
those
We have
tickets,
Cruise Hammer, but that's all like locked up and done.
yeah, you
right?
should have your ticket by now because if
Yeah.
you don't,
It's going to be tight.
Yeah, right. And of course in October we'll have SoCal and then we have a little bit of a lull before the big one, LVO. But yeah, no, guys, at Lone Star Open, this was a great way to end at least this little section without events for us. Seth, what's your next big event, man? Do you have something on your?
I don't really have anything on the books. August for me is some work travel. I know also some work travel for Nicky D. So I might try to make it out to like a local RTT kind of thing. But for me, it's I guess I got to figure out what my work schedule is for the fall and that. But yeah, not a whole lot going on for me. So I think that's about it for us for tonight, Kicker. So I'm going to send this one to bed.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us, guys. We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Signals from the Frontline. Have a great week, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Peace.
Night.